I called this season for the Green Bay Packers last week a make or break season. This is the year you got to go to the Super Bowl because you might not have a roster that has that good of a chance for a very long time. And obviously, Aaron Rodgers' window is closing. We know this. Now, David Bakhtiari is one of the 33 names that will be at least either a restricted free agent or an unrestricted free agent next year. And when asked about his contract situation, this is what David Bakhtiari had to say today.
Even if I were to be talking, I wouldn't disclose that information. So that doesn't lean towards one side or the other. As far as the season goes, I mean, yeah, I think I'm open to anything. But at the end of the day, I looked at it how I did in 16. I'm not gonna. I mean, I get paid to play, and I'm the left tackle. I'm under contract for another season, and that's what I'm focused on. And whatever the organization decides that they want to do moving forward with me, we can have that conversation.
So obviously, David Bakhtiari taking the high road, doesn't really want to openly discuss contract negotiations, the contract situation. And look, I get it, right? We all get it. I'm not coming to you. You're not coming to me talking about my contractual situation with my job. Obviously, David Bakhtiari is a bit different than me, but at the end of the day, he doesn't want that being public, at least not right now. So the one takeaway from that, or one of the two takeaways really from that, is it doesn't sound like there is any negotiations going on, because the first thing he said was, even if I was having those conversations, I wouldn't talk about it. So obviously, with everything going on, David Bakhtiari's contract year is not at the forefront of the situations for Green Bay management, and rightfully so. But the other thing I noticed there was, as he took the high road, he did it very Coach Doug's style. So for those of you familiar with Big Cat, Barstool Big Cat, over 100,000 people watched this dude play NCAA 14, the video game, over the weekend, the national title game. And leading up to that, people were, and look, he's a satirical, comedic sports personality, Big Cat is, if you're not familiar. And people were just berating his Twitter mentions, saying, oh, you're headed to Wisconsin after this game, because that's where he attended school. And he replied to every tweet just about. I mean, like 100 tweets with, I am the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers. And did you hear the little Coach Doug's like thing that David Bakhtiari said there?
I mean, I get paid to play, and I'm the left tackle. I'm under contract for another season, and that's what I'm focused on. And
I am the left tackle of the Green Bay Packers. Yes, you are. And a very good one at that. Obviously, David Bakhtiari now 8 years in already, which just seems insane to me, because I remember when they drafted him, like it was yesterday. And already in his 8th year, David Bakhtiari, one of the great offensive linemen in the National Football League. And David Bakhtiari, along with Corey Linsley and Lane Taylor, all going into contract years. Other names for the Packers going into contract years: Kevin King, Alan Lazard, Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones, and the list goes on and on and on. 33 guys that are looking for new contracts, at least in some capacity next year. Tim Boyle's on that list too, but I assume he won't make the roster. Robert Tonyan will be a restricted free agent after 2020. So when I say this is a make or break year for Green Bay, I don't look at it any other way. It's year 2 of an offense, and we'll get into year 2 of the offense and what that will look like here in a little bit. But it's year 2 of an offense. It's year 2 of a guy that brought you to the NFC Championship game a year ago. And nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw the Green Bay Packers rattling off a 13-3 season and going to the NFC Championship game. I didn't see it. You didn't see it. Josh didn't see it. Nobody saw it happening. 13-3 season for Matt LaFleur in his first year was not expected. But it's what happened. And now that's reality. This team is coming off of an NFC Championship run. And once you're there, you want to go back because you want to win that freaking ball game. So obviously that is a very important situation to every player on this team. And we'd assume management too. You develop these holes in your roster, in your depth chart, that you know needs to be filled. The big one we've talked about nonstop for the last 6 months now, just about, is wide receiver. And as you recall, Green Bay did not go with a wide receiver in the first round of the NFL draft. In fact, they actually went with Aaron Rodgers' replacement, Jordan Love. This was the first time David Bakhtiari had the opportunity to speak on that. Here's what he had to say on the Packers drafting Jordan Love.
I mean, I'm indifferent. I think my goal throughout my career is always to look at this as, to not let my emotions get the best of me in the business setting. To understand, I know we do play a game, but it is a business at the end of the day. I was more shocked that they traded up, but I mean, how I feel about the pick doesn't really matter because I'm not in charge of building of the roster. So I don't think that wherever my point is, my goal is my job is to protect the quarterback and open up holes in the run game and do my job and make sure I'm out there on Sundays. That's what my job title is. So I try to do that to the best of my ability and only control what I can control.
Yeah, so David Bakhtiari going, again, with the high road, right? He doesn't want his emotions to show. That question, and I think there should be context provided here, that question was asked by Jason Wilde of ESPN, Wisconsin. Jason Wilde co-hosts Wilde and Tausch with Mark Tauscher. And when he asked the question to David Bakhtiari this morning, he said, I know you weren't on the roster in 2005, but my co-host, Mark Tauscher, was. And what happened in 2005 was the Packers, with Brett Favre and a solid roster and a team that was ready to make a run, drafted Aaron Rodgers. And I know this is an entirely different situation, right? A, they didn't trade up for Aaron Rodgers. B, they probably didn't intend to draft Aaron Rodgers because Rodgers was touted to be the number one pick in the 2005 NFL draft. It was between him and Alex Smith to the last minute. And then he kept falling and falling and falling. And the Packers just scooped him up. So that was a little bit different. But Wilde mentioned when he asked David Bakhtiari that question today, there was people that were pissed off. Straight out. And David Bakhtiari did not try to refute that was the case. He said, I try not to let my emotions show. Of course you're pissed off when Jordan Love gets drafted. Although I've said since it's happened, I'm a big, big fan of that pick. I was advocating for that pick. I wasn't advocating for them to draft up for him or trade up for him, but I was advocating for that pick. And David Bakhtiari says his job is to protect the quarterback. And again, rightfully so, because it is.